40 for Rateable Crest Titans.
"2018 saw the unfortunate cancellation of the Malcolm Wilson Rally, and this year the snow was back. Thankfully though, not enough to cancel the event, but it was going to provide a bit of a challenge for the crews. Winner at round 1, the Cambrian Ewan Thorburn leads the crews away. Stephen Petch next on the road and looking to put some points on the board after a disappointing round 1 non-finish. Onto the stages then, and a few crews would have been hoping that they could have had a bit of a practice in the snow last year, no doubt. The results not reflecting the start list by any stretch of the imagination. Leading the way then after the opening stages were Ian Joel and Graham Wood, a lead of 11 seconds at this stage, and great to see an Escort Cosworth in the lead of a national rally. Second place to Joel would be Petter Kreisen and Lucas Sintel, the pair also lying second in the B13 class with this leaderboard position as well. A great start for the Evo pairing. And there will be no less than 3 of our B13 crews, in fact, in the podium places after the morning stages. Richard Hill and Stefan Evans rounding out those with 3rd place, just 3 seconds back from the Evo pair up ahead. So what was with all these unusual results at the top of the leaderboard then? Well, the morning would unfortunately come to an early end for Stephen Petch and Michael Wilkinson, getting caught out on the snow and ending their rally in a stage 2 ditch. For Scott Faulkner and Gareth Parry, it would be the NR4 lead. The times were actually equal to Hill up ahead in 3rd, so it was all to play for in that podium position fight. Great to see Conor McCloskey back, Noel O'Sullivan alongside, joining the championship this weekend in the Fiesta. Sadly, there'd be some gearbox gremlins to contend with, meaning 5th place for the pair at this stage. Things were going well, meanwhile, for Richard Sykes and Steve Link, even getting themselves a fastest time in Greystoke. The switch to 4-wheel drive had been a learning curve so far, but things seemed to be going a little smoother now. And Russ Thompson and Andy Murphy would end the morning sitting 2nd place in the NR4 class. A little uncharacteristically for the pair, but they were still going well with 7th place overall, just 17 seconds off that class lead. It would be exactly the same time on the results for Ian Bainbridge and Daniel May at this stage, lying in 8th place on the leaderboard. The B13 class very popular this weekend as the pair lie 6th in that class. For Charlie Payne and Carl Williamson, it would be 9th. Not at all where we expected them to be on the leaderboard, but they would have over 30 seconds to make back if they wanted to reach the top of the leaderboard this weekend. So rounding out the top 10 at the end of the morning stages were Steve Simpson and Paula Swinscoe, 3rd in the B14 class for the pair too. It would be fair to say things were not going to plan for our round 1 victors, Ewan Thorburn and Paul Beaton. They miss out on a top 10 position in the morning, having to settle for 11th place. But Grisdale was a stage that Thorburn knew well, so the afternoon could just see a fight back. There would, however, be no fight back for Pat Naylor and Ian Lawrence, the pair ending their rally in stage 2. And it would be an even earlier retirement for Matthew Hurst and Declan Deere. They spin on this corner in the very first stage of the day, struggling to get the car going again, eventually sticking in gear and going no further.
Obviously we came into that junction a bit hot, span and struggling to get it out of gear now. I think we might have an alternator problem because it stopped cranking afterwards, and that's the end of our rally. So off we go onto the rally nuts in a few weeks' time, and we'll see if we can go further than 1 stage next time.
So we are 3 stages down here at round 2 of the BTRDA, the Malcolm Wilson Rally. The leaderboard is looking like this. On to the afternoon stages then, and we'd lose Steve Simpson and Paula Swinscoe, the steering rack failing on the Fiesta on the 7th stage of the event. Things weren't exactly going to plan for Russ Thompson and Andy Murphy either. They end the rally well down on the results in 30th overall. Luckily for them, they'd still managed 2nd remarkably in the NR4 class with that result. On to the top 10 though, and it would actually be our Silver Star champion sneaking his way into the Gold Star results. George Lepley and Tom Woodburn rounding out the top 10 overall in the championship at the end of the rally. There'd be no change for Charlie Payne and Carl Williamson though. They end the rally with 9th place overall, as well as 3rd in the B14 class. And it would end up being a mixed weekend for Richard Sykes and Steve Link. They go off the stage getting stuck on a log. Thankfully, with the help of spectators and media at the location, they were able to get out. And with the stage only being short, the maximum time would still allow them to claim 8th place. There'd be plenty of change in the top of the Gold Star results. Meanwhile, Alan Pearson and Ian Jones ending the rally with 7th place there in the Evo 9. And after a problem through the morning, it would be a good fight back for Sam Billum and Patrick Walsh. Sam taking a career best 6th overall in the green light backed Fiesta. It was good to see them back while it lasted, but we would lose Conor McCloskey and Noel O'Sullivan. Those gearbox problems causing the pair to pull off the stage and call it a day.
I think it's sort of stage 4 there, the gearbox started messing about with us, so we've now lost 3rd gear completely, so game over. One of them things.
Scott Faulkner and Gareth Parry meanwhile dropped down the leaderboard slightly in the afternoon. They do, however, take the NR4 victory this weekend and finish the event in 5th overall. Petter Kreisen and Lucas Sintel would also drop out of the podium positions. Their great start to the rally continuing, but having to settle for 4th this weekend. On to the podium places then, and there would be no change for Richard Hill and Stefan Evans. They end the rally in that 3rd place that they'd held this morning. A great end to the rally for the pair. And it would be a good finish too for Ian Joel and Graham Wood. Sadly not the victory they'd been looking for, although it was looking likely earlier in the day. But 2nd place was a great result and much needed as well after the opening round disappointment. Great to see that Escort Cosworth still able to fight for podium positions as well. But that, of course, means a new leader and victors of the event after a great fight back in Grisdale. Ewan Thorburn and Paul Beaton working their way right up the leaderboard to take victory by almost a minute, adding a 2nd win to their BTRDA championship tally so far. So confirmation then of the results at the end of the Malcolm Wilson Rally. Grueling one this for the crews. Round 2 of the Jordan Road Surfacing BTRDA Rally Series has delivered.
Yeah, it was obviously pretty tricky this morning with all the snow and ice, which was a bit unexpected, but yeah, we made sure we got through them and got down to Grisdale one piece and had a push through there. So yeah, we knew we could take some time back in Grisdale, so we had a good push and thankfully done that, and then had a bit of a misfire again heading up towards the last stage there. We got through, so.
And so it was a little bit tricky in the first couple of stages of the snow with the amount of power you've got, I guess.
Yeah, as soon as you touch the throttle, it just wants to swap sides with you and chuck you in the ditch, which is not the most pleasant thing to have. But yeah, it was just a case of getting through them and making sure we got down to Grisdale in one piece, and that's what we've done. So yeah, it's been a good day. Sun's shining now, so happy days.
Round 2 of the Jordan Road Surfacing BTRDA Rally Series was providing a challenge for the crews, to say the least, especially our Silver Star crews. 2-wheel drive and icy conditions were not going to be easy for anyone. Over the rally's opening stages then, it would be our Round 1 Silver Star winners out in front. George Lepley and Tom Woodburn opening up a small advantage in the event after stage 3. Behind them on the leaderboard, though, was a hard-charging Bobby Mitchell with Shannon Turnbull alongside, just 3 seconds from the lead pair. But sadly, that wasn't to last. The fight would end early. They retire in service later in the day with a fuel leak. So for now, it would be 3rd for Zach Hughes and Tom Wood. They would be lying 2nd in the N3 class as well, and of course, set to gain an all-important podium position through the afternoon with Mitchell not returning from service. Just outside our podium positions, meanwhile in fourth, were Rob Wright and Tony Vart, leading the B11 class at this stage and just 5 seconds back from Hughes. After a disappointing end to the opening round of the series a few weeks earlier, Andy Davison and Tom Murphy would be looking to get some points on the board this weekend. Things were going well to start that off as well. 5th place for the Sunbeam pair, 2nd in B11. And this man, James Giddings, with Perida Davies alongside, makes a good start in the R2 class. Leading the way there, not much time in the car, meaning that they were still getting used to things, but it seemed to be going in the right direction at least. 3rd in the N3 class in these difficult conditions would belong to David Kelly and Jerry Hughes at this stage. They end the morning in 7th place on the overall leaderboard, just 4 seconds back from Giddings up ahead. The fight was on. For Tony Simpson and Ian Bevan, meanwhile, it will be 8th. The Fiesta pair lying 2nd in the R2 Cup now as well. Only 10 seconds from the lead there. And leading the way in the H3 class was Steve Ward and Mike Crawford. They sit just inside our top 10 overall as well with an impressive 9th. And rounding out that top 10 were Tim Phelps and Elwin Manuel, leading the way in the B12 class with that position as well. Tough conditions to go rallying in these. Let's take a look at some of the class positions just outside of the top 10, and it will be 3rd in the B11 class for Jeff Phelps and Pete Wilson, lying in 12th place overall at this stage as well. After an extremely strong result in the R2 class last time out, it would be slightly lower on the leaderboard at this stage for Perry Gardner and Keaton Williams, feeling their way through the morning stages. They lie 3rd in the class, 13th overall in the Fiesta. David Gathercole and Ken Bills will be 13th on the leaderboard, the pair lying 2nd in their class in the Historics as well. A small overshoot in the 2nd stage of the day, not helping their cause though. As you might expect with conditions like these, the rally would claim a few of our crews. Damien Pratts and Johnny Tad Evans having no chance of another podium this weekend as they roll the car in the 3rd stage of the day. And we would also lose Owen McMacken and Lee Taylor to a similar fate, passing our cameras with a puncture and struggling for traction, only to roll the car later in the stage despite their heroic efforts. So the morning stage is complete here at the Malcolm Wilson Rally. Here's how the Silver Star leaderboard is shaping up. On to the afternoon stages then, and with the attrition on the stages so far, there would be big changes through the leaderboard. Stephen Allman-Smith and Max Freeman, one of only 2 N3 class runners to finish the rally, so they take that 2nd spot. And on a day like today, it is all about getting to the finish. There'd be no change in the class result for Tim Phelps and Elwin Manuel, meanwhile, mainly as they would be the only one in B12 to take the finish. They do take that class victory then, 13th overall. On to our top 10, and it would be a 10th place finish for Tommy Meadows and Emma Morrison, taking 4th in the very tough R2 Cup this weekend. David Gathercole and Ken Bills scored their best result to date with 9th overall. A good end to the rally for the Escort pair, keeping it tidy and most importantly, getting to the finish. For Jeff Phelps and Pete Wilson, it will be 3rd in the B11 class. No change to the class for the pair. They end the rally with 8th place in Silver Star. And frustratingly for James Giddings and Perida Davies, there was no holding on to the R2 Cup lead. Closely fought this weekend. They had held it in the morning, but they dropped down the results a little through the afternoon to end the rally with 3rd in the class, 7th overall. Victory last time out had given Perry Gardner and Keaton Williams a taste for it and some confidence as well. They don't match that this time, but they do manage 2nd place. Some more strong points to be added to their championship campaign this weekend towards their season tally so far. But that means that the R2 class gets a new leader, and indeed a new winner at the end of the rally. Tony Simpson and Ian Bevan having a great run to take the class victory and 5th in the Silver Star. Rob Wright and Tony Vart just miss out on a podium position, ending the day with 4th place in the category, taking 2nd in B11 for their troubles. On to the podium places then, and it would be a great end to the rally for Andy Davison and Tom Murphy, making up for that non-finish last time out. They take the final step on the podium as well as the B11 class win. We already knew then that Zach Hughes and Tom Wood were set to gain from the loss of Bobby Mitchell, and indeed they did just that, crucially staying in the fight and taking 2nd place to end the rally as well as the N3 class victory. But taking the Silver Star win this weekend and making it 2 from 2, George Lepley and Tom Woodburn, ever impressive. What a start to their season. The defence of the Silver Star title being upheld despite the lack of seat time in that historic Avenger. So here we have it then, confirmation of the results at the end of a pretty tricky Malcolm Wilson stages. Round 2 of the Jordan Road Surfacing BTRDA Rally Series.
Yeah, really happy. Couldn't have gone much better. I mean, we obviously had an amazing result on the Cambrian. To come and repeat it again on the Malcolm Wilson's been amazing. It's not been without its problems though, but we've come as a team, we've won as a team, and yeah, we're celebrating as a team. So it's been a really, really good day, and very tricky conditions. Probably the trickiest one I've done all year, well, my whole career. So, but yeah, it's really good.
The BTRDA 1400 category on the Malcolm Wilson Rally will be missing its reigning champion Dave Brick. But winner of the first round, Chris Powell, was back, and he and Jim Lewis in that Sunbeam would be the ones to take the lead on the opening stages of the day. The Herefordshire Raceway pair would be sitting just ahead of this man, Callum Black. Michael Gilby alongside, fresh from his appearance on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Callum back out in the MG in the 1400s this season. Good to see, and going well. 39 seconds off the lead at this stage though. This weekend will be the first time out in the new car for Richard Jordan and James Grattan Smith. Clearly getting to grips with things early on. 3rd place would be theirs for now in this Corsa. Meanwhile, the podium last time out must have given a bit of confidence to Steve Black and Paul Morris, spurring them on for another good result this weekend. They end the morning with 4th, not too far off those podium places and surely well within their sights up ahead. For Noel Lappin and Will Atkins, it will be 5th, starting the event off well and managing to stay out of any trouble in these slippery conditions. The wide-arched Micra, meanwhile, of Dominic Hodge and Stefan Arndt would be 6th. The pair just 17 seconds back from Lappin up ahead after the first 3 stages of the day. Behind them and leading the way in the 1400C results, at this stage at least, were Matthew and Daniel Evans. 7th place overall on our leaderboard and taking a small lead in that class as well. A spin on the opening stage of the day would see Stuart Spire and Peter Williams off on the wrong foot, you could say. They do have a much better run though through the next couple of stages to end the morning with 8th on the leaderboard. It's another Corsa. And for Richard Garnett and Rob Gillam, it will be 9th. The micro pair lying 26 seconds back from Spire, but also lying 2nd in the 1400 C-class battle as well. 3rd in that class, and rounding out our top 10 overall in the 1400s were Alex Holliday and Jane Wright in my old Ford KA. In the Rally First category, it will be a tough start for Sam and Liam Johnson. They do lead the way in the category, but were suffering with the screen misting up for much of the morning. 2nd in that class would be Wesley Guilford and Mark Townsend. Sadly, their luck would be a little worse. They retire in service. And we would lose Andrew Wheatley and Kirsten Dallas. They bend the beam on the rear of the Puma, causing some unusual handling, shall we say. So we reach the end of the morning stages here at the Malcolm Wilson Rally. The results, or at least the leaderboard in the 1400s, looks like this. On to the second half of the day then, and the Rally First category would see the end of its now only remaining crew, Sam and Liam Johnson, coming to an abrupt end, the pair rolling the car on an innocent enough looking corner. But then they all are. So with no Rally First finishing the rally, it would be on to the overall 1400 leaderboard. And rounding out the top 10 were Alex Holliday and Jane Wright, keeping hold of that position from their strong performance through the morning stages. It was a similar story as well for Richard Garnett and Rob Gillam. They keep hold of their 9th place overall, a 1-minute penalty not even changing their overall position. For Matthew and Daniel Evans, it will be the 1400C win. They take the class victory as well as 8th place on the overall 1400 category results. Delays in the Grisdale stages and snow back up in Greystoke would all mean a bit of a hard job catching up the time for Stuart Spire and Peter Williams. They indeed have to settle for 7th place this weekend on their first trip to the Malcolm Wilson Rally. There'd be no change though on the leaderboard for Dominic Hodge and Stefan Arndt. They keep that Micra in 6th place here on the second round of the championship. And indeed no change either for Noel Lappin and Will Atkins from their morning's performance. 5th place was theirs, a good end to the rally for the Escort pair. That debut for Richard Jordan and James Grattan-Smith, well, if you were wondering, it had gone well. They do lose out on a position through the afternoon, but 4th was a very respectable result considering these conditions and their lack of experience. That position, though, would have been overhauled by this man, Steve Black, on a charge with Paul Morris alongside. He'd wanted that podium once again and took it in the final stages of the rally, taking 3rd place once again this weekend. And there would be change at the top of our leaderboard as well. Chris Powell and Jim Lewis, frustratingly for them, not taking victory this weekend despite a strong performance. They have to settle for 2nd place. Still a great result though, and with Dave Brick not here, it gives them a step up on the championship points after round 2. But for this weekend, well, it's like reading out a script for a TV show from years ago. Callum Black with Michael Gilby alongside takes victory. A great drive from the pair to end the rally with a 27-second advantage. The switch back to the 1400s clearly looking like a good one. So confirmation then of the results from an eventful final few stages here on the Malcolm Wilson Rally. Round 2 of the Jordan Road Surfacing BTRDA 1400 Rally Series.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I've had a great day, more than what we could have expected, to be honest, especially with Dad being on the podium. The conditions were really tricky the first couple of stages this morning with the snow, which was quite unexpected. We just got round and then we had a really good run through Grisdale. I think we were top 10 overall and we both just really enjoyed it, got into it, got some good rhythm, and then just was a case of getting through then.
Care 40 for Rateable Crest Titans.